This is Stephanie, and this is the Mocha Minutes Podcast. Hey guys, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know about something that's a little new here at the Mocha Minutes Podcast. We are now participating in Buy Me a Coffee. So if you haven't heard, buymeacoffee.com is a place where you can show some support and some love monetarily to some of your favorite content creators. That includes me. So it's in the increments of either $1, $3, or $5, and you can do as many as you would like. So I just wanted to let you guys know, would love some support. So if you would go to buymeacoffee.com/Mocha Minutes, I would greatly appreciate it. It will also be in the show notes. Okay, here we go. Hello, fear. Before you sit down, there's something I need to explain. Since you're here, I think I should tell you, since we last talked, things have changed. See, I'm tired of being broken-hearted, so I made a list and you're on it. All my hopes and my dreams you took from me, I want those back before you leave. Hello, fear. I knew I would see you. You have a hard time letting go. See these tears? Take a good look, 'cause soon they won't fall anymore. God's healing my hurtful places. That seat that was yours now is taken. I'm no longer afraid. See, I'm better this way. And one more thing before you leave. Never again will I love you. My heart, it refuses to be your home. No longer your prisoner. Today I remember, apart from you is where I belong. Never again will I trust you. I'm tired of fighting. It's been way too long. No longer your prisoner. Today I remember who I was, and now it is gone. They're gone. Hello, fear. Woo! Okay. It's been a hard week. And back in November, disappointment, rage, sadness, but most notably, fear set in. And not a fear because I didn't believe that Jesus was not still on the throne, that God was still not in control, but just fear that people who look like me or people that I love and I care about, and also millions, if not billions of people, are going to be harmed with this administration. All of that set in at the same time. Hence why you saw a lot of people who try to fight against this change not feeling okay that Wednesday after. So for everybody who doesn't know what that song is, this is a song. It's about maybe 13, 14 years old. Actually 14 at this moment. It's from Kirk Franklin. It is the title track from his album, Hello, Fear. It opens the album. And now that we are removed a few days from the inauguration, it's going to be a very long 4 years. And baby, we have a fight. The 92% that we can be towards the back, because the thing about it is, we try to warn you. There's no better voting block to determine the right side of history than black women. Yeah, next time listen to us when we talk and not just expect us to follow you. Okay? Thanks. But welcome to the Mocha Minutes podcast. So full disclosure, y'all, I have recorded a whole episode, and I have to say, for me, it wasn't complete. Hence, I'm re-recording this. I recorded an earlier day this week. I'm recording on Friday, January 24th, because I was like, I didn't like what I heard. It has nothing to do with the quality. I'm sorry, the quality of the sound. It was the quality of the recording. And mind you, it's solo dolo, so it's really just on me. I needed a couple more days away from the hellscape that began on January 20th. A day where we are to honor the legacy and memory of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So I needed a few days away from the hellscape because the stuff that has came out since then, woo, chalet. So let's start a little bit low key, and let's start, to stay with the theme of what Monday talked about. Let's talk about the whole thing with Sexy Red and Bernice King. And before I start, I know, and we all know, the very complicated relationship that the church has with queer folks, and how there are some people who carry that very heavy and outdated and just ill-advised water of being very harsh on folks in the LGBTQ plus community, but seemingly they're not that harsh on murderers, those who eat meat on a Friday, those who touch the skin of a pig, those who commit adultery, those who do not love their neighbor. Because sin is sin, period. But for some odd reason, if you're LGBTQ plus, that's the worst sin. And I feel like murder, basically taking a life that God put on this earth, it is not your place to take a life, is actually worse. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm very aware and sure of the history that maybe Bernice King has maybe allegedly pushed forward and expelling about her father possibly not having a problem with people in the community, even though someone at the right hand of Dr. King was of the community. We're not talking about that right now. What we're talking about is Sexy Red's Martin Luther King Day post. That one, I will tell you, Sexy Red is on the younger of the age spectrum, and she handled it better than a lot of other rappers do. Meaning that she literally just apologized, because that's literally what you actually should do. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Sexy Red had posted something on Twitter, where it was an AI generated flyer that had her posing with Dr. King in what appeared to be a nightclub. So Bernice King quote tweeted it and said, "This is intentionally distasteful, dishonoring, deplorable, and disrespectful to my family and my father, who is not here to respond himself because he was assassinated for working for your civil and human rights and to end war and to end war and poverty. Please delete." To which Sexy Red said the following: "You ain't wrong. Never meant to disrespect your family. My apologies. Just reposted something I saw that I thought was innocent." She had the prayer hands or the high five hands, but we use them as praying hands. And so, after that, Bernice King thanked Sexy Red and said the following: "Thank you for your apology, which I sincerely accept. Please know that it was not my intention that you be denigrated. I value you as a human being. I hope you understand my concerns about the image. I know that my father has become a bit of a caricature to the world and that his image is often used with no regard to his family, his sacrificial work, or to the tragic, unjust way in which he died, a state-sanctioned assassination. Unfortunately, I regularly challenge the disregard. I earnestly wish that people would imagine that it would be would imagine what it would feel like to see their deceased murdered father repurposed for party flyers, unjust legislation, etc. All the best to you, young lady." Which is how this kind of correspondence should happen. If someone tells you are like what you're doing is offensive, you apologize and you move on. Because essentially, she did say, "I didn't think anything. I thought it was just innocent." But again, we don't. Sometimes what we think is innocent, we don't understand, because this is a good example of intent versus impact. Because Sexy Red's intention was not to offend anybody, most notably Dr. King's own daughter. But again, the impact was that. And I saw a couple of people saying, like, she ain't never say nothing to nobody before. And I'm like, yeah, I know for a fact that she does. Literally, when she does see it, anytime there's a disrespect to her father's legacy or name, she speaks up. She does. So there's that. Woo! Lord. But it's like when I tell you grand opening, grand closing, see, this is what happens. When you apologize correctly, it's so easy for stuff to move on. Or if you like actually just apologize, period. That really, that's just how it is. So there's that. So next, this is low key. It's very serious for me, but I saw this happen I heard about this a few weeks ago, and I had never said anything. But apparently in Virginia, there was a nurse who worked in the NICU who was going out of her way to break bones of little black babies in the NICU. When I saw that, I was flabbergasted. That one, I don't even know how long this was going on, but I'm going to read the story from ABC News. A former nurse who was employed at the Henrico Doctors Hospital in Richmond, Virginia, was charged on Friday with malicious wounding and felony child abuse for allegedly intentionally injuring an infant at the hospital's neonatal intensive care unit. Erin Elizabeth Ann Strootman of Chesterfield County was charged with one count of felony child neglect, which carries up to 10 years in prison, as well as one count of felony malicious wounding for an injury sustained by an infant, which carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison, according to Henrico Commonwealth Attorney Shannon Tyler, whose office is prosecuting the case. The charges are connected to an incident that allegedly occurred on November 10th, 2024. According to WRIC, the ABC affiliate in Richmond, Strootman was arraigned on Friday. So this article is from January 7th. Public Defender Scott Cardaney, who was representing Strootman, told ABC News on Tuesday that she has not yet entered a plea, and he declined to comment on the charges. According to court records, Strootman's next hearing is scheduled for March 24th, 25. She was denied bond, according to Taylor's office, and was ordered by the court to not have any contact with children under the age of 18. Taylor told ABC News on Tuesday that while Strootman was charged in connection to a single incident, the investigation is ongoing and law enforcement officials have so far identified 7 potential victims, but added that the number could increase. Thus far, we have 4 babies identified from 2023 and 3 babies identified from 2024. However, both Henrico Police Division and myself have made public statements encouraging families to reach out if they believe that their babies were impacted. Thus, the number may increase. Taylor said that her office has been in touch with the families who have been identified so far, but officials did not name the alleged potential victims involved in this case. According to the Henrico Police Department, law enforcement officials began to probe this case after the Henrico Doctors Hospital launched an internal investigation into unexplained fractures sustained by babies in the hospital's NICU from 2023 to 2024. All of the previously closed cases related to these incidents have been reopened as part of the recent broader investigation, Henrico Police said in a statement on December 31st, 2024. All of the families involved in this current broader investigation have been notified, to include those from 2023. Dominique Hackey, a father of twins, spoke with WRIC in an interview published on January 1st where he was told that his son Noah's case is one of those that had been reopened. We want to make it clear that Noah didn't have a bone disease. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't from his birth, Hackey said. Somebody did this to our son, and we're going to find out who did this. As this case gained national attention, the Henrico Police Department dispelled rumors that the alleged victims were targeted based on their racial identity, telling ABC News in a statement on Tuesday, allegations are not factual based on a preliminary investigation. Henrico Chief of Police Eric D. English said the police recognize that this case has generated feelings and emotions, but asked the public for patience as our detectives work to investigate every piece of evidence in connection to these cases. As part of the investigation, police said that they are reviewing dozens of videos from inside the NICU as they let me finish the article before I respond. From inside the NICU as they pursue a wider investigation with the assistance of Henrico's Child Protective Services Department of Social Services, the Henrico County Commonwealth Attorney's Office, Virginia State Police, the Virginia Department of Health, and the Office of the Attorney General. A spokesperson for the Henrico Police Department confirmed to ABC News on Tuesday that the investigation is ongoing. Henrico Doctors Hospital announced that on their website that the hospital's NICU is not admitting new patients at this time. We have been assisting law enforcement in their ongoing investigation and will continue to do so. Any media questions or inquiries about the investigation should be directed to law enforcement, the hospital said in a statement on January 3rd. We are both shocked and saddened by this development in the investigation and are focused on continuing to care for our patients and providing support to our colleagues who have been deeply and personally impacted by this investigation. ABC News reached out to a hospital spokesperson for further comments. Now, here's the part that gave me pause. Not that they're saying, don't say it's about race yet because we're still investigating. But the fact that, one, there are cameras. There are cameras in the NICU, meaning there's videos. So nobody was looking at these and the thing about it is, and it could just be, it was not clear on the videos that you could see what the hell she was doing. But it's very, very interesting that when it is an attack on if there are non-white victims, that they're like, oh, don't say it's about race. Why not? Because y'all don't take that, you don't take that care if it's a white victim. Susan Smith lied about two black men doing stealing her car when she actually drowned her own children, and they did stop and frisk. Literally, it was like, oh, y'all demonize black men for that, when she's the one who did it, which is why her husband's like, oh, that bitch can stay in jail. She, like, don't ever let her out. So I'm looking for other articles because I'm like, I know I'm not going crazy. So I found... So this woman, her name is Erin Stratman. She was only 26. That's the other thing. Apparently, one of the videos that showed her abuse, videos allegedly showed, and this is from lawandcrime.com, shows Strootman applying pressure on a 5-month-old baby boy's legs to the point where his feet reached his head. You're not supposed to do that. During a bond hearing on Wednesday morning, prosecutors entered some of Stroman's text messages into the record, according to a courtroom report from Richmond. Oh, I'm going to hit this. Let's see. What did it say? Let's see. Because now they're taking out, because one, it was, they were saying, like, you coming after black children. It sounds like she just came after children, but one of the victims actually is a black man with twin boys, so that's why I think that's what the first person that they notified. So people are saying, like, basically they're trying to say basically that she is, let me see, I'm sorry, this is posted from January 22nd. So, okay, something a little bit like more recent. Okay, so let's look at this. So this is about her bail hearing. Former NICU nurse Erin Stroutman will remain in jail as the court waits for the findings of a mental health evaluation. Stroutman appeared in person for the 50-minute bond appeal hearing after a Henrico judge denied her release last week, citing safety concerns. I like how it's like, oh no, we can't let her out because y'all will, like, she will get hurt. Yeah, maybe she, okay. Stroutman's attorney, Jeff Everhart, said the results of a mental health evaluation performed at the jail weren't sent to him in time for Wednesday's hearing. Judge Wallerston suggested that Everhart set up a psychological evaluation by a third party and to hear those results at a hearing scheduled for next month. Stroutman is accused of causing multiple fractures to a 5-month-old baby born on November 10th, 2024. Prosecutor Allison Martin said 2 additional babies were found with fractures the following month, but no additional charges have been filed against Stroutman yet. The first baby was found on December 17th with multiple fractures. The second baby was found on December 24th with a rib fracture. Martin said the Commonwealth's child abuse expert, Dr. Robin Foster with the Children's Hospital Richmond at VCU, dated those fractures as occurring during the time when Stroutman would have been providing care to all 3 babies. Martin noted that the recent fractures bear similarity to incidents involving 4 other infants in the same NICU between August 5th and September 18th, 2023. Stroutman was placed on paid administrative leave in 2023 after the hospital conducted an internal investigation into the initial 4 cases. Martin said she returned to work in the NICU on September 17th, 2024. Pause. Let me get this straight. Y'all put her on leave and she was able to come back. Child Protective Services and Henrico Police also investigated but were unable to identify a perpetrator. Martin said their investigation was unfortunately delayed, quote unquote, and encountered, quote unquote, problems because the hospital did not report the fractures to CPS until September 21st of 2023. Martin said Stroutman posed a threat to herself and others when she argued against bond. Prosecutor Allison Martin shared text messages from Stroutman that showed evidence of Stroutman's alleged mental health and substance abuse images. One of the text messages from October 21st, 2023, Stroutman stated she had been pacing, felt up like I did cocaine again, quote unquote, but she did not and had self-diagnosed herself with borderline personality disorder. She wrote, I feel manic. It takes everything in me not to start shit, according to Martin. On the day before she was arrested, Martin says Stroutman wrote in a text, my therapist's office is closed. I'm 5 seconds away from checking myself into crisis. Martin says Stroutman sees a psychiatrist and counselor and takes 2 medications for anxiety and depression. Judge Wallerson said those details concerned him when taking into consideration her bond status. However, Everhart said his client is not a flight risk and would be safer in her parents' gated community. He mentioned Stroutman is 26 years old and doesn't have a criminal record. He said she intended to visit the Henrico Police Department to talk to investigators, but was arrested a day before. Dominique Hackey's son Noah was one of the babies injured at the hospital in September of 2023. He said he felt the need to be in the courtroom for Stroutman's bond appeal hearing. I feel angry that I have to be here and to show up for my son for the rest of the 2023 babies because somebody abused our children. Stroutman was placed on administrative leave in 2023 after the hospital conducted an internal investigation into the initial cases. Prosecutors said CPS and Henrico police investigated but were unable to identify a single perpetrator. Now investigators have reopened Noah's case. I'm confident in Henrico Commonwealth's attorney, Shannon Taylor, Allison, and their ability to be able to get our babies justice. Stroutman's continued bond appeal hearing is set for February 11th. Prosecutors say Stroutman should face additional charges after the grand jury meets in March. They mentioned detectives are combing through every minute of surveillance video for where the former nurse was along with babies. Martin also said she was concerned about Stroutman's potential release because a witness had come forward with evidence that Stroutman had applied to care for their child when she was on leave from Henrico Hospital between September 23rd and September 2023 and September 2024. She said Stroutman told the family she was placed on leave due to tuberculosis exposure. I have concerns about her ability to be truthful. Everhart said her client had been in isolation at the jail and that is hard to deal with. He said he does not, quote unquote, get a sense she is contemplating self-harm and he believed bond is appropriate. When a judge asked if Stroutman still had her nursing license and if she could voluntarily surrender it, Everhart said she did still have her license, and if the court wanted him to check with the nursing board if she could voluntarily surrender it, he would do that. Everhart said Stroutman would live with her parents where there are no vulnerable adults or children in the home. Stroutman continued bond appeal hearing except for February 11th. Prosecutor says Stroutman should face additional wait, that's literally the same sentence. Okay, yeah, I don't know why they just wrote this twice, but question, why the hell does she still have her nursing license? That should have been yanked, period. There's no reason why she should still have it. I think it's interesting they're trying to steer clear of saying that she targeted black babies, and I think the reason why they're trying to do it like this is because they don't want black people to get mad. We can still get mad anyway. Here's the thing. I do not care. It angers me that that black man had to be in the court because he had to be like there standing witness for his son. Hey, hi. I don't care what color these babies are. That woman, one, should be in jail, and two, she should not still have her nursing license because homegirl is not going to be truthful. Here's the thing. Nurses are in high demand everywhere. Homegirl could literally lie. Because they did because the hospital dragged their ass on this, telling CPS, which by the way, they should have. She could literally lie and just say, oh, this is the reason why I had this gap. And because it really is it would be like second or third degree digging. She could have moved and then harmed some other, literally. She don't need to be out. But to say oh my gosh, she could harm herself. Y'all don't want me to say what I'm thinking. So let me just keep it to myself. But it's okay. As long as she is not harming any babies, that is no skin off anybody's nose. And it shouldn't be. It's I don't feel bad for saying this. I'm going to tell you why. This woman literally intentionally I'm sorry. Jennifer Hudson in this spirit tunnel, I love it because the one they dropped today is Shamar Moore. And anybody who's of a certain age, y'all remember when Homeboy used to host Soul Train. And when I tell you that whole bit, he is my favorite. That's for the streets, and he's I think he hung up his he retired his whole jersey. And now, Shamar Moore been fined for literally 30 years or more. That man been fined for a very long time. Okay. He's very fine. Okay. That's my baby. Everybody loves Shamar Moore. And he's probably one of the least problematic people in that, because I think he's learned. But yeah, him being the spirit tunnel is so good. It's please watch it if you see it, because anybody who remembers him hosting Soul Train, he is having a ball. I'm sorry, I love this. But yeah, this woman, Erin Stroutman, I have more sympathy for, one, these babies that you harmed, because she literally could have unalived these children. No, she's just breaking bones on them because, one, it sounds like she's just careless, talking about I feel manic, talking about apparently she took allegedly she used to do cocaine. I'm first of all, how the hell is she working? Period. Never mind. So I will be following this case. We'll hear more either on February. Saying she shouldn't be around children. She could go to her parents' gated community. She's only 26. Girl, you do not need to be anywhere near anybody's child. You need to just stay at home with your rich parents and don't do nothing. Okay? Or locked up and or institutionalized. Yeah, I said it. Anyway, next story. In mid-key, I saw this a little while ago and I was like, ooh. So JP Morgan Chase, one of these banks, had decided to enforce a full-time return to office policy. So earlier this month, let's read this. JP Morgan Chase and Company is preparing to order staffers to return to the office 5 days a week, becoming the latest major bank to kill its hybrid work policy. The bank, the largest in the U.S. with more than 300,000 employees worldwide, is expected to announce the change in the next few weeks, according to Bloomberg, which cited people familiar with the matter. JP Morgan declined to comment. I'm going to keep going. For years, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon has argued against remote work, saying it's ineffective and impossible for managers. In general, there's nothing like face-to-face. Most recently, Dimon took issue with federal employees working from home in Washington, D.C., so the reversal of JP Morgan's hybrid 3-day-a-week mandate is not such a surprise. Hold on 1 second. Stop. So, let's see. Because I'm trying to see if they tell you that, oh, stop this. Oh, my God. All of these, I'm like, y'all just want people to... Okay, hold on. I swear, I love Shamar Moore. He is the bestest. Okay, all right. Had to find a date. So, they want all of their employees to return to the office starting in March. But they will receive a 30-day notice. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when this was announced, JP Morgan Chase, they turned off the comments of the post. Oh, God. Okay. So they posted it. So where they turned off the post was on the company's internal site. Like, this was not sent out wide. It was sent on the internal site, sent out to the company, and they turned off the announcement was posted on an internal company site where employees can share their reactions publicly. Yeah. And so they turned off the comments on their own site for employees saying, like, wait a minute, we have to come back. And this is mostly because the CEO of the company thinks that remote work is not efficient. Remote work that you've been doing for the last few years. And we're going to talk a little bit about the hellscape that happened on Monday. That also is part of the hellscape. But it's very interesting to watch. As someone, and let me not put that part in. I'm kidding. It's very interesting to watch people say, basically for a lot of people, especially CEOs who are not doing these jobs, your bird's eye view of this, right? You're not doing this day by day. You're not doing this. You're not doing the scope of work that the people that you're saying. You're not doing this. You haven't done it in years. You're just the owner of the company. For some people, if they don't see you, if they don't see your eyeballs, they don't think that you're working, which is very interesting because if you have employees that are not doing their work, then that is like a case-by-case basis and you need to address it. But to basically say, like, you don't like remote work because basically you're just not seeing people with it's nothing like face-to-face. You're not doing the job, sir. And also, I don't see you, like, increasing their pay. It's like you're not doing all of this. Or, yeah, I have a whole lot of thoughts about this. It's really going to be very interesting to watch people. You basically make people come back in, especially if and the thing about it is retention, overturning, like turnover of companies, we can look at that. But if you were advertising positions that say 100% remote and now you're telling them they have to come into the office, I'm like, yeah, the person, if that's the case, if you told them the work status was going to be 100% remote and now you're saying, hey, oh, by the way, now you got to come in here. What if they don't live in a state that the office is in? You want them to move? You want them to commute? That's not how it works. But also, you advertised a remote position. Is it completely illegal? No. Is it morally Is it morally wrong? Yes. Why are you advertising a remote position and then saying, oh, JK, you got to come into the office? I'm like, then it becomes, yeah, I was looking for remote work. So why are you now saying, like, oh, no, you got to do this? I'm like, I came to you for remote work for a reason. So, but that's just delving a little bit deeper in. You know, it's just a little deeper in, right? So, yeah. So let's talk about the hellscape. But before we talk about January 10th, let's talk about the weekend before. So, weekend before, usually for inauguration, there's a lot going on. There's balls, there is fun, there's balls on top of balls and balls, dances, gatherings, parties, whatever. So, a few rappers, I was going to say rap elite, but some of the folks I'm about to say are not elite. Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Soulja Boy, Nelly, from what we know, were tapped to perform. And of course, people took issue with that. Most notably with Snoop Dogg. Because Snoop Dogg, about 8 years ago, during the Trump's first inauguration, was calling people jigaboo ass niggas if they performed at the inauguration. Now, Kel Surprise, he's performing at an event that's associated with the inauguration. He's not performing at the inauguration ball. That was Nelly. But he was performing at the crypto ball, Soulja Boy, Rick Ross as well. That was in celebration of the inauguration. Now, towards the end of his presidency, Donald Trump pardoned someone that that Snoop is very close to and cares about. Now, that could be the reason why in the last maybe couple of years, you don't really hear him saying fuck Trump and fuck y'all and fuck. If you fuck with him, then fuck you too. You don't hear him saying that too much because basically he did something good that positively affected Snoop. Let me just say this right here. That man never does anything out of the kindness of his heart. He's doing something to help himself. He's never doing anything selflessly or because it's the right thing or it's a good thing to do. He's doing it because he knows he can get something from you. Hence, why you see a Snoop Dogg at an inauguration associated event when at his last inauguration, he said, fuck y'all and fuck y'all too. Fuck him and fuck y'all too. So when this came out, I watched a lot of people do exactly what I kind of figured was going to happen. Because when Chrisette performed in 2017, a lot of the folks that really had a lot to say was saying she ain't shit. And like, girl, don't do that. You might want to reverse course. It's like a reverse course. Abort, abort, abort. Those same people were not saying that about none of these folks. Most notably Charlemagne. Most notably D.L. Hughley. Most notably Stephen A. Smith. Chrisette Michele was on The Breakfast Club after the inauguration, basically having to explain why she would do something like that. I don't remember Snoop Dogg being anywhere near the Breakfast Club this week. She actually talked about that Donald Trump was even at the ball that she performed at. Um, she also talked about like she was under so much stress and went to a depressive episode that she actually lost. She now has an angel baby. She lost a baby. I don't remember anybody feeling too sorry for her. I did. I thought it was a very bad move. That means like she is like, at a moment of anger, I was like, yeah, fuck her. But after a while, I was like, girl, anyway, Couple of Forevers is still streaming on my title. I watched Charlemagne basically say, y'all niggas should really be more mad at Obama, laughing with Donald Trump, leaving out the context of it was at the funeral for former President Jimmy Carter, where, hey, hi, by protocol, he would have to be there. And I think they were seated in succession, meaning that Obama would have to sit next to Donald Trump because they follow each other in succession. Let me get this straight. You wanted your listeners to be more mad at the person who, by protocol and by his station, he had to be at the funeral of Jimmy Carter and would have to sit next to Donald Trump because of succession. You want them to be more mad at him because the cameras caught them catching a laugh because, hey, hi, Barack Obama has home training and knows that, hey, hi, the cameras are probably watching, and if he actually reacts the way he actually wants to, that would be a bigger story. You want to be more mad at the people who literally are choosing to perform for somebody who don't give a... Girl, Charlemagne, please stop. So I think the day after, maybe the 21st, like, DL went on his show and he talked about it. He wasn't as harsh, and I get it. There is a soft spot for Snoop. But I will give DL this. I will give him a flower that he said, y'all should not... It's like, look, people are upset by what you did. You need to allow them to feel how they feel. Yeah, I'm like, I'm with you when you're right. DL's not wrong about that. It's like, look... Just like, the thing about it is, when it comes to like you watching people disappoint you, people, and I was like, these are complete strangers. I'm like, yeah, but you, like, the thing about it is, if their music or their art is part of your makeup, meaning that you grew up listening to them, like, hey, hi, I'm old enough to remember Doggy Style. Okay, so, and to know he was on records before he even came out with his own record, so that's been a very long ass time. For some people that like, and also Nelly is another one. So believe me, you can be disappointed. This is where we're going. It's like in 2025, we're like, okay, unfollow and block. And the thing about it is, if you think you did the right thing, this should not be no skin off your nose. But don't tell people they should not feel how they feel because you did something that disappointed them. You're going to have to take this L, or hold on to that money that you got to perform, because I don't know, Nelly, I don't think we coming to your residency. And please do not guilt trip and say like, we black, how can you not? I'm like, we black, how dare you to, like, see how that works? Do not try to weaponize you being a black man against the people that you disappointed because you decided to literally participate in this hellscape. Do not come back to us and say like, well, I mean, we really should be sticking together. You should have thought of that before you literally performed for this man, because in 2017, we didn't have the history and examples of what a Trump presidency really would be. We have one now. Y'all niggas still did this shit anyway. Here's the thing. Don't defend your bad behavior because you getting flack. Either explain why you did it. Do not be like Soulja Boy, who is ignorant. Do not be like Nelly, who is extremely ignorant, saying, what do you mean white supremacists? What do you mean Klan country? I don't live there. Sir, you're from St. Louis, Missouri. I know you fucking lying right now. Nelly made this worse for him. It's like, oh yeah, we definitely not coming to your residency. Girl, please pull you off my titles. Block this artist from my... Yeah, since your people's coin, or your people that have been with you since before white people knew who you were. Let's be very clear. Before middle class or any white person has heard about a rapper, please understand there was a whole bunch of niggas who knew what the fuck they were before white people figured out. And now that you're getting white coin, you think you don't have to literally still keep your own community in high regard. Oh, I got these white people coin. Please understand. All them white people you're performing with, I know y'all were like singing your explicit music. You know there's a whole bunch of white people saying nigga to your face and you didn't care because the check cleared, because you got some money in your pocket. Baby, you better keep your coins together. You better keep rubbing them nickels together, because I don't know if you can get too many of from us. Or you probably meet a Stephen A. who is yelling with his 5 head for some odd reason, saying, what was he supposed to do? Not get a coin? Not get paid? Yes. Please do not be a Stephen A. Please be a T.S. Madison. All money ain't good money. That's an adage that is old as time. As old as Cain and Abel. All money ain't good money. Please understand. Every black person didn't want to end segregation. Every black person was not like, I don't want to be a slave no more. Every black person is not saying Black Lives Matter. They might be like Little Wayne say, don't tell me my black life don't matter, ma'am. My black life matter, especially to my bitches. Yeah, that person that y'all wanted to be the Super Bowl halftime performer, the one who did not give a fuck about Black Lives Matter. He only cared about his black ass. He only cared about his black life. You know what? Nope. Bloop. Nope. So I will give thank you DL for at least, the thing about it is, and I appreciate Angela Rye for saying her point of hypocrisy, because please just say that. Do not act like you're not being a hypocrite. Actually, girl, get in front of it and say, I'm being a hypocrite right now. I'm going to tell you that right now. I know it's a point of hypocrisy for me. I know it is. Be that honest, babe. Be that honest. All right, so here we go. The executive orders. So, in literally his first minutes, hours of being in office. Now, by the way, typically for inauguration, the president puts his hand on the Bible. He did not. I made the joke with my mother. It's like, yeah, that demon didn't want to burst into flames if he touched that damn Bible. That darn Bible. Excuse me, Lord. So for everybody who doesn't know, an executive order is a way to leapfrog over the law passing process. Basically, a president can just get a slip of paper and sign something, where usually laws have to go through a lot more channels. I am not Schoolhouse Rock. Y'all can find that video that explains how I'm just a bill and tells how bills become laws. Nope, I am not. Right now, I'm at the 92%. I'm a part of that. We are no longer being Schoolhouse Rock to y'all asses. Google is too free. There are too many buildings that are full of free books called libraries. Too many. The internet's too big. Google's too free. There's too many libraries. You probably live down in the vicinity of at least 2 libraries right now. Y'all don't go because y'all don't want to leave. But that's neither here nor there of how bills become laws. So there's a lot of executive orders, but, shout out to Axios. They broke it down into different categories. Let's talk about some of the executive orders. Immigration executive orders. He promised mass deportations, but hasn't detailed how he would implement staff and fund such a massive, costly operation. Now, for the folks that said gas too high, eggs too expensive, y'all are fine with this man spending close to billions of dollars. Like, if it's not definitely millions, might be close to billions of dollars to literally do a mass deportation, which, by the way, already a few places have said, if we lose, that is going to hurt our staff. That's going to hurt the farming infrastructure, because a lot of them use day laborers to help work their farms. I think there was a video where one farmer said, my farm was shut down in 2 days. But this is what y'all wanted. Never mind. Excuse me. He declared, Trump declares national emergency at Mexico border. very interesting. He declared an emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border, vowing to deploy troops to the region, including the National Guard. He has also instructed Secretaries of Defense and Homeland Security to construct additional border barriers. He is a designated certain, quote-unquote, certain internal cartels and organizations such as Tren de Agua and MS-13 as foreign terrorist organizations, and announced plans to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target them. He has suspended U.S. refugee admissions program resettlements until such time as a further entry into the United States of refugees aligns with interests of the United States. Homeland Security will report back within 90 days whether resuming refugee entries would be in the interest of America. Nearly 1,660 Afghans cleared by the U.S. to resettle in the country, including family of active duty U.S. military personnel, had their flights canceled following Trump's orders. Trump also ordered Homeland Security to terminate all categorical parole programs that are contrary to the policies of the United States established in my executive orders, including those for refugees fleeing Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Black and brown areas. I don't know if you guys saw this video, but it was like basically there's an app where people could apply for these programs, and because he canceled it, thousands of appointments were canceled, and you saw people crying because, one, they're devastated because now they're stuck. I find this so hilariously funny that y'all really hate people so much. These are people who are doing what they're instructed to do it properly. Remain in Mexico policy. Trump reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy, ending a program that released asylum seekers into the U.S. while their cases were considered. Okay, I'm sorry. This is the app. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection website said Monday that appointments made through the through the CBP One app at certain border crossings have been canceled. Hours later, Trump nixed the program. So this is what I was talking about. The CBP app. These are people who are seeking asylum. He cut that. They nixed the program. The app shut down, and you saw thousands of people devastated. Trump empowered officials to repeal, repatriate, or remove any alien engaged in invasion of the southern border. They are literally just seeking asylum. They are not storming the border. Next category, Trump birthright citizenship executive order. One of his boldest moves was an attempt to end birthright citizenship for those born to undocumented immigrants. Birthright citizenship is protected by the U.S. Constitution, and the order already faces legal challenges. Yeah, there's already the Seattle judge. This is the one that they're like, you can't do this. Birthright citizenship is protected by the U.S. Constitution, and you literally want to do something unconstitutional. Trump ordered agencies starting in 30 days after the order not to recognize babies as citizens if their mothers were unlawfully present at the time of birth and their fathers was not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. That also applies to children born to mothers who are lawful temporary residents and fathers who were not citizens or lawful permanent residents. He really is just a demon. Energy and environmental executive orders. Trump declared a national energy emergency, ordering expedited deregulated drilling as he repeatedly vowed to drill baby drill. One order specifically targets energy production in Alaska, rescinding former President Biden's protections around the state's coastal areas. In a separate memo, Trump paused offshore wind leasing in federal waters. The heads of all other relevant agencies shall not issue new or renewed approvals, rights of way, permits, leases, or loans for onshore or offshore wind projects pending a review of federal wind leasing. Paris Climate Treaty. Next part. He also signed an order withdrawing the U.S. from the world's second largest greenhouse gas emitter from the He also signed an order withdrawing the U.S., the world's second largest greenhouse gas emitter, from the Paris Climate Agreement. Trump had pulled out of the pact during his first term, but Biden rejoined the deal in a day one order of his own. It takes a year to withdraw from the agreement. But he's like, no, we're going to leave. Trump also took aim at the Biden administration's federal procurement targets for clean power, electrical vehicles, and other energy goals. Trump directed the Energy Secretary to restart application reviews for liquefied natural gas export projects, which were paused by Biden over climate change concerns. Trump also revoked a a 2021 executive order that set a goal for 50% of U.S. vehicle sales to be electric by 2030. Biden literally was trying to do stuff to combat climate change, a concept that Trump literally said was acting like it's not true. And I don't know why y'all doing this. Next category, executive orders to targeting DEI and transgender Americans. Trump established Monday that it is policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female, on official documents. These sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality. Girl, shut up. Transgender Americans were a central target of Trump's often hyperbolic and outright false campaign trail messaging. Yeah, y'all saying hyperbolic. That man was lying. It's like we can just say that. That man lied to millions of people. Zoom out. He also rescinded a Biden administration provision that allowed transgender people to serve in the military. Yeah, because Trump was literally trying to say, like, they shouldn't even serve in the military. Like, one of the highest honors in our country for a lot of people is serving in the military. And you literally saying if they are transgender, like, no, they can't do it. And I'm sorry, how they identify? How they see themselves as they go to bed? How does that have to do with anything? I don't care how you identify if you are protecting our country. That should be like the bare minimum. But when your head is up your ass, you don't think that way. Trump did not immediately ban trans military personnel from serving as he did under his first administration, but he paved the path to revive the ban. Trump, as part of his crusade against what the GOP decries as woke culture, ordered the dismantling of government diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative within 60 days. It eliminates policies that establish several diversity initiatives, including one that widens sex discrimination protections to include sexual orientation and gender identity. In a Tuesday order, Trump specifically directed the Federal Aviation Administration to immediately return to non-discriminatory merit-based hiring as required by law and rescind DEI initiatives. In a separate order, Trump ordered all executive departments and agencies to terminate what he called discriminatory and illegal preferences, policies, programs, guidance, and other provisions, and to, quote-unquote, combat illegal private sector DEI preferences, mandates, policies, programs, and activities. In doing so, he revoked decades of executive orders, including the Equal Employment Opportunity Order of 1965, signed by former President Lyndon B. Johnson. It also calls for each agency to identify up to 9 potential civil compliance investigations of publicly traded corporations, large nonprofit corporations or associations, foundations with assets of $500 million or more, state and local bar and medical associations, and institutions of higher education and endowments over $1 billion. This man is diabolical. Here's the problem. When we talk about DEI, everybody thinks it's just to hurt black people, not realizing if you are somebody who is differently abled, DEI includes you. EEO, Equal Employment Opportunity, that includes you. If you are a woman of any race or ethnicity, this includes you. If your religion, that includes you. If this is your sexual orientation, this includes you. Hey, white LGBTQ plus, we're talking about you. This includes you. Certain ethnicities, this includes you. Please understand, this doesn't just hurt black people, which is what y'all thought this happened. So, let me get to the other part. Another category, other executive orders affecting federal workers. Trump signed several other provisions that will impact government workers. He required a full-time return to in-office work for federal employees and ordered a hiring freeze on government positions. I'm going to come back to that. The hiring freeze does not apply to the military or immigrant enforcement, national security, or public safety. Peep that. He also reinstated his first-term Schedule F executive order, which could make it easier to fire civil servants deemed disloyal. I think he means disloyal to him. The order could strip employment protections from thousands of federal employees Employees are, quote unquote, not required to personally or politically support the current president, but they must, quote unquote, faithfully implement administration policies to the best of their ability. Yeah, it doesn't blatantly say that you have to support the current president, but that's what he's insinuating. So let's get to the hiring freeze. So, because y'all put that, again, the hellscape, because he signed this executive order, the hiring freeze, and it wasn't for positions in the military or immigration enforcement, so basically every other part of the government, these companies swiftly and quickly sent out a lot of people who had interviewed, because it's a process, an interview process, had a official offer letter, had an official start date, was cleared to start. All of their offers were rescinded. People were getting emails. They got notifications. I'm sorry, we have to rescind the offer. Now you see some of those Trump supporters saying, hey, I just received notice that my offer was rescinded. Ouch. Ouch. I just scratched my own self. My wife's offer got rescinded. I'm sorry. Let me find the exact tweet. Because of course I did not quote tweet this. I responded to him because sometimes I send him a petty and I usually mean it. Okay? Let me see if I can find it. So, a nice man, he deleted it. So apparently homeboy deleted it, but he basically like reached out, wrote this tweet to Donald Trump directly. Can you get this out? Can y'all tweet this out? Because he said, my wife just got her offer like rescinded. We have packed up our house. We're about to move, and now we don't do. Can y'all send this to Trump? Apparently he deleted it because people literally dug in his ass. Here's the thing. I responded to him. No, I'm not retweeting this because I responded. I'm not retweeting shit. You got what you wanted. You wanted him back, and he did exactly what we said he would do to everyone, which is fuck them over. Welcome, Buttercup. It's funny he took this down probably because he got his ass handed to him. So there's that. He's still, and the thing was, he took that tweet down, and now he's back to. Now he's back to tweeting about Trump. So now apparently there's a report that leftist VA employees planning to illegally circumvent Trump's executive orders ending DEI by changing their titles and program names. Sir, they didn't fire that. They didn't fix the issue. Now he's saying, "Oh, they fixed it." No. His wife is working for the VA, and the thing about it is, he could not do that, but he did do the hiring freeze. But doing that for veteran affairs is actually illegal, because providing them positions, it's like, yeah, you can't do that. You have to do that's part of their thing. So it looks like the veteran affairs stepped in, but he's like, oh yeah, Dad, Papa Trump saved it. That's not what happened. Somebody probably told him, hey, hi, hello. It's like that, yeah, because they basically said, oh no, we're gonna resend it. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. This man has already, like, it hasn't even been a week, but yeah, still going. Sorry, hiring freeze. January 6 pardons and other clemency actions. Trump pardoned the vast majority of January 6 defendants charged with participating in the Capitol riot and commuting the sentence of 14 others. Among those were leaders of the extremist groups, the Proud Boys, and the Oath Keepers. Those are the hostages, approximately 1,500 for a pardonful pardon. Pardoning rioters was a prominent campaign pledge, but Trump had previously said recipients would be determined on a case-by-case basis. Zoom out. He also announced Tuesday that he signed a full and unconditional pardon for Ross Ulbricht, the creator of the unlawful Silk Road Marketplace, who was sentenced to life in prison. On Wednesday, he issued a full and unconditional pardon to 2 police officers convicted of the 2020 murder of Karan Hilton Brown, a 20-year-old black man in Washington, D.C. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Karan Hilton Brown, Terrence Sutton, and Andrew Zabavsky was sentenced to 66 months and then 48 months, respectively, in connecting to the death of Karan Hilton Brown, because they also tried to cover it up. The jury found that Sutton caused Mr. Hilton Brown's death by driving a police vehicle in conscious disregard for an extreme risk of death or seriously bodily injury to Mr. Hilton Brown. The jury found further found that Hilton and Zabriskie conspired to hide from MPD officials the circumstances of the traffic crash. So apparently they were following this boy on a bike or motorcycle, in an unmarked police car, and of course it probably let me just read this part of what happened. As evidence this trial showed, at the time of the offense, Sutton was assigned to the crime suppression team in MPD's 4th Police District. Zabavsky supervised the 4th Police District's crime suppression team, officers including Sutton. At about 10 p.m. on Friday, October 20th, 2022, officers observed Mr. Hilton Brown, 20, driving a moped, helmetless, on a sidewalk in the Brightwood Park area of Northwest Washington. Mr. Hilton Brown, who was unarmed, ignored Sutton's attempt to stop him and drove off. Sutton then began chasing Mr. Hilton Brown on neighborhood streets for minutes over more than 10 blocks at unreasonable speeds, and at one point proceeding the wrong way up a one-way street. In the pursuit's final moments, Sutton followed Mr. Hilton Brown into a narrow alley, turned off his car's emergency lights and siren, and accelerated behind the moped. When Mr. Hilton reached the street at the mouth of the alley, he was struck by an uninvolved incoming motorist. As Mr. Hilton Brown lay unconscious in the street in a pool of his own blood, Sutton and Zabavsky agreed to cover up what Sutton had done to prevent any further investigation of the incident. Neither Sutton, as the lead officer at the scene, nor Zabavsky, the ranking MPD official, persevered the crash scene for investigators. They allowed the driver of the car that struck Hilton Brown to leave the scene within 20 minutes of the crash. They then turned off their own body-worn cameras, conferred privately, and left. Zabavsky designated no other MPD official to supervise the scene upon his own departure. Sutton further compromised the integrity of the crash scene by driving his MPD car directly over the crash site, audibly crushing pieces of debris from the collision as he left. At no point did either defendant contact MPD Major Crash Unit, MCU, or its Internal Affairs Division, IAD, to initiate an investigation by these units. Sutton and Zabavsky continued the cover-up back at the police station. First, they misled their commanding officer about the nature of the incident by substantially downplaying its seriousness, denying that a police chase had even occurred. Sorry. Omitting any mention of Mr. Hilton Byrne's critical injuries, Zabavsky also falsely implied that Mr. Hilton Byrne had been a drunk driver. Both defendants also hid their direct involvement in the incident, thereby avoiding the assignment of other uninvolved MPD officials to investigate what had happened. Sutton drafted a police report that memorialized a false narrative of the incident. Despite video evidence of the contrary, his false narrative gave the impression that no police pursuit had occurred, that officers had lost sight of Mr. Hilton and were engaged in a canvass of him in the area until shortly before the crash, and that the officers were wholly uninvolved with the fatal collision. And anyway, the defendant's account also described Mr. Hilton Brown's observed injuries only as superficial abrasions on his left eyebrow. Mr. Hilton, suffering from severe head trauma, died on October 25th, 2020. Donald Trump just pardoned these two men who thought so less of this young man who's only 20 years old, doing bonehead and riding a moped with no helmet is the bonehead part I'm talking about. But hey, hi, there's a lot of kids, no matter the hue of their skin, who do that. That is not an offense whose sentence involves death. They literally were going to lie, call this boy a drunk driver. It's like, girl, what? Or better yet, if they really investigated that car that hit him because he was scared because one, somebody was driving extremely way too fast. And the thing about it is, it's like, he's just driving a moped. He wasn't like, you didn't see him like literally was on his moped with like machete and was slicing people. It's like, that's not what happened. These are the people that you let out of jail, that literally you say, oh, well, I'm a part in them. For what reason? So here's the other thing. You pardoned the 1,500 people who were involved in January 6th insurrection, committing high treason, but y'all say y'all back the blue. That's what he says. He says he backs the blue. There's a police officer unalived. There are police officers that were injured. One of them is speaking out saying, fuck him and fuck y'all too. And now he's getting questions. I'm like, you care about police? I do. So you're pardoning people who directly assaulted and unalived a police officer. And he gave word salad. He can't, like, the thing about it is, you're full of crap. Y'all don't care about y'all only want to back the blue if they're doing something against somebody who's not white. It's only Blue Lives Matter if you're trying to dismiss Black Lives Matter or Trans Lives Matter or Brown Lives Matter or Asian Lives Matter. Any other non-white life, if they're saying, hey, our lives matter too, because the two is silent, not only. We're saying our lives matter too. That's the only time y'all really care. Because if y'all did this highly treasonous act that happened on January 6th, then y'all wouldn't be doing that. Y'all don't care about police either. Because when you talk about, like, anytime that any non-white person brings up police violence to civilians, they're like, well, they care more white people than anybody else. Then y'all should be right. Then y'all should be in front of us then. Now shouldn't you? You should actually be more upset. And y'all not, because that's how much y'all hate non-white people. Or y'all don't care. Or you act like they're not real people. I saw a clip from Diane Cameron. She's like, I have never had a problem with me being black. My blackness is never a problem for me. It's for you. You have a problem with my blackness because you don't see me as a person. Let me know if you think she's wrong. Okay. Health executive orders, WHO, COVID, and drug costs. Trump signed an order pulling the U.S. from the World Health Organization for no reason. Monday's order said the U.S. will withdraw due to the organization's mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic and other global health crisis. That is rich coming from him. This man called it the China flu. This man dismantled the office that could have circumvented the amount of lives that we lost. He mishandled this. You were the serving president when COVID-19 happened, sir. Ugh. Zoom out. Trump also rescinded a 2022 Biden order to lower the cost of prescription drugs. Hey, hi. You know, y'all were complaining about the cost of living. He just switched that. That affects y'all too. Trump on Wednesday waived requirements that green card applicants be vaccinated against COVID-19. So you pulled out of the World Health Organization because you said they mishandled. Oh, look at that. You said they mishandled the COVID-19 pandemic, but then those who are applying for the green card, they don't have to be vaccinated against COVID-19, which could actually hurt. Girl, okay. All right. Trump, you know, everybody knows about the TikTok one. You know, the problem that he started. Check August 2020 to see his executive order related to TikTok if you don't believe me. But now he's like, I'm going to... I'm here to save it. You didn't do it. It's a lot. But yeah, let me, because there's some stuff added. TikTok extension, DOJ, and more executive orders. Redesignating the Houthi rebels in Yemen as terrorist organizations. Ensuring government agencies do not, quote unquote, unconstitutionally abridge the free speech of any American citizen, highlighting what Trump and his allies consider censorship under Biden. Basically, don't be an asshole to somebody is limiting your free speech. Okay, girl. ordering a review of trade practices and agreements, revoking security clearances of Trump's former national security advisor John Bolton and former intelligence officials who signed a letter discrediting the Hunter Biden laptop story. Basically saying that y'all were kind of lying about that. Y'all were embellishing, basically. Formally establishing the Department of Government Efficiency, suspending the TikTok ban that he started for 75 days, declaring that federal buildings should, quote unquote, respect regional, traditional, and classical architecture heritage to, quote unquote, beautify public spaces in a noble United States. Because renaming Denali to Mount McKinley and the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Girl, shut up. Federally recognizing the Lumbee tribe. Declassifying files related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. for some odd reason. Supporting the use of digital assets, blockchain technology, and other financial technology. Establishing a President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Y'all not smart. Composed of up to 24 members. Revoking existing artificial intelligence policies and directives that act as barriers to American AI intervention. And setting a 100-day deadline to develop an AI plan. Somebody had put a video on Instagram saying when something is a little bit better for black people, it's always exponentially better for white people. A lot of the stuff that he is turning back, if damn near, if not all of it, it made better stuff for white people. But because y'all were because he fooled y'all and made it seem like it only helped black people, that's why you're like, oh no, get rid of it. Not realizing that. Getting a DEI hurts y'all. A lot of the stuff, the hiring freezes, the reversing of things, that hurts y'all more than it hurts us. You want to know why? Because it's more y'all here than it is of us. But y'all are so focused on, oh, as long as it's not hurting me, it's hurting them, it's fine. A lot of his supporters treated this like this was some sort of sporting event. Politics is not a sporting event. The Super Bowl is a sporting event. The Stanley Cup, the World Series, the NBA Finals. Hell, the Little League championships, the college football playoffs. Those are sporting events. What we're talking about, laws, is for human beings. And because y'all only cared about yourself individually, y'all didn't look at the big picture, y'all let this demon seed, this agent of chaos, this person who, by the way, he don't care about y'all either. You let him harm so many people, including your own. Y'all literally drank poison and expecting the other people to die. This is what y'all are doing. Because y'all don't care. The Equal Employment Opportunity Act from 1965. Do you know how long it took a lot of people had to march? My ancestors, a lot of other ancestors had to march. Some of this stuff that he's wants to unwrite took 100 years to even come to fruition. And he wiped it away within seconds. And y'all niggas want to focus on Obama laughing at maybe a joke or keeping it cute because he has class. Y'all are so lost. It is so much. And I'm going to end it with this. If there weren't let's be very clear. Because I've seen the video of people saying he don't got that much power. He's like, we got to hold on to our Bible. We got to hold on to our faith. Please understand. Martin Luther King Jr. was a reverend. So he's a man of God. He's a man of faith. Malcolm X, man of faith. That did not stop them from going, I'm going to fight to change things on this side of Jordan. Having faith does not mean you don't see what's going on. You're so heavenly bound, you ain't no earthly good. And there's nobody's not going to say that Martin Luther King or Malcolm X was not no earthly good. This country has not been burned to the ground, because a lot of people who have faith, who have melanin, they ain't burning this place to the ground. Jesus is saving a lot more of y'all than what you think. Period. See y'all next week.